In Palestine, new data of intense bombardments by the Israeli army against urban centers in the Gaza Strip. In the United States, United Auto Workers Union has intensified its strike against the three major auto manufacturers. In India, local media reported that at least 4 people were killed and 100 injured after an express train derailed in the state of Bihar. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Rosabal from the TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. In Palestine, new data of intense bombardments by the Israeli army against urban centers in the Gaza Strip. More than 50 people were killed in the last hours, according to official sources. The Palestinian Ministry of Public Health reported on Thursday that a total of 51 people were killed at dawn by Israeli Defense Forces bombs. According to the official body, the Israeli forces concentrated their attacks on the residential neighborhoods of Sabra al-Zaytun, al-Nafaq, and Tel Awa, as well as other places in the Palestinian enclave. Since Saturday, the death toll in the Gaza Strip after Israeli bombardments has exceeded 1,100 people. On the other hand, the United Nations Refugee Agency confirmed that at least 12 of its staff were killed, including 5 teachers, a gynecologist, an engineer, a psychological counselor, and 3 support staff. It is estimated that 200,000 people have been displaced so far, about 10% of the population. The Palestinian Health Ministry said on Thursday that the number of Palestinians killed since October 7th are rising to 1,448. The official report broadens that the majority of the deceased are civilian victims and at least 260 fatalities were children and 230 women. Meanwhile, the overall number of wounded exceeds 6,448, many of them being treated in hospitals that are on the verge of collapse due to the high demand and the Israeli blockade. On the other hand, the Palestinian Health Ministry also detailed that the corresponding death toll in the West Bank is 31 deaths and 180 wounded. Most of the deaths were caused by continued shelling of residential neighborhoods in the city of the Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, the total number of deaths caused by the incursions and missile attacks by Hamas rose to 1,300, according to the Israeli Health Ministry. In addition to the casualties, a total of 3,268 people have been hospitalized, with 28 in critical condition, 348 in grave condition, and 581 in moderated condition, according to the Health Ministry. Similarly, the Israeli Defense Forces have reported that 220 soldiers have fallen in combat, a preliminary number that may increase. At the same time, approximately 150 people are believed to be held captive by the Palestinian militias. The number of wounded and dead due to the constant and increasing Israeli attacks on the Gaza Strip continues to rise. For more information, let's see what a correspondent in Gaza has to share.
We are not exaggerating if we are saying that the situation here in Al-Shifa Hospital is catastrophic. There is ongoing Israeli shelling airstrikes on the Gaza Strip from the air, from the land, from the sea. The situation is going from bad to worse. Every few minutes we see new injuries coming here to Al-Shifa Hospital. People dead. We are talking about whole families, women and their children. We are reporting what we have never ever witnessed since 2008, an ongoing Israeli attacks on the Gaza Strip. We also witnessed the use of Israeli phosphorus bombs on the Gaza Strip. And right here, while I am inside the Shifa Hospital, we talked to doctors. They said that the situation is deteriorating. The hospitals are running out of medicine and medical supplies, and that they will not be able to treat the people injured who are coming to the hospitals. They have called upon the Arab League and Arab countries like Egypt and Jordan to intervene and create a safe passage for the people here injured in the Gaza Strip to be transferred into Egypt and get treatment in Egypt, and also to allow the humanitarian aid and the humanitarian supplies to enter the Gaza Strip. Noor Harazin, TeleSUR, Gaza.
On Thursday, the Secretary of State of the United States, Antony Blinken, arrived in Tel Aviv. The head of U.S. diplomacy was received by the Israeli Foreign Minister Eli Cohen and is expected to meet later with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Meanwhile, according to the Organization for the Liberation of Palestine, Blinken will meet with the President of the Palestinian National Authority, Mahmoud Abbas, in Hamad, Jordan, on Friday. In a statement on Wednesday, the U.S. Foreign Minister said the United States is determined to ensure that Israel has what it needs to defend itself and provide security for its people. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad and his Iranian counterpart Ibrahim Raisi held a telephone conversation to discuss the situation in the occupied Palestinian territories, according to the Syrian state news agency SANA. Both leaders affirmed their support for the Palestinian people in their confrontation with Israeli crimes and their legitimate resistance to defend their fair cause and regain their stolen rights. According to a report by President al-Assad, considered that the Israeli action caused bloodshed and stressed the need for urgent Arab and Islamic actions to protect the Palestinian people and stop the Israeli attacks against children and women. On Wednesday, the President of Iran held a telephone conversation with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman about the same theme. On Thursday in China, Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin, referring to the Israeli-Palestinian armed conflict, called for a ceasefire and an end to the fighting as soon as possible.
We noted that the Arab League held an emergency foreign ministers meeting and passed a resolution supporting the Arab League in playing an important role in the Palestinian issue. China and Arab countries have similar positions on the Palestinian issue. Both sides called for a ceasefire and an end to the fighting as soon as possible, condemned actions that harm civilians, and called for preventing the situation from escalating and causing any humanitarian disaster. Both sides believe that the international community should play an effective role in providing humanitarian support to the Palestinian people and promote the resumption of peace talks as soon as possible.
Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin stresses China is willing to maintain communication with the Arab League and other parties in order to promote peace.
The fundamental reason for the recurring conflict between Palestine and Israel is that the Middle East peace process has deviated from the right track. The foundation of the two-state solution has been continuously eroded, and relevant United Nations resolutions have not been effectively implemented. China is willing to maintain communication and coordination with the Arab League and other parties, actively promote peace talks, and make unremitting efforts to get the Middle East peace process back on track.
On Wednesday in Chile, hundreds of people rallied in support of the Palestinian people in front of the presidential palace of Chile. The mobilization in the Palace of La Moneda in Santiago de Chile took place as a show of solidarity with the Palestinian people that is under Israeli attack since October 7th, with a balance of thousands of dead and wounded. According to several investigations and studies, Chile has the largest community of Palestinians and one of the oldest outside in the Middle East, which exists 500,000 people. In the framework of the rally, the organization boycotted investments and sanctions, calling on the government of Chile to stop and withdraw economic relations with the State of Israel.
I'm here to support the Palestinian people. The Palestinian cause is not a foreign issue to me. I've been studying it for years and I know what the Zionist state is doing to these people. It has slowly taken away all their territory, and it is only right that they get their land back.
It was a chronicle of a death that was foretold, because it is 75 years that the international community has been asked to speak out in one way or another about the crimes against humanity that are taking place in Israel under the eyes of the whole world. Cutting off their water, killing their children, destroying olive groves, and not only olive groves, but also orange groves. It is really a continuous and constant siege for 75 years. If before the peaceful measure they tried and did not work, what has happened now is the chronicle of a death that was foretold.
Let's take a short break. Remember, you can join us on TikTok at TeleSUR English. We'll find it in different formats, new dates, and more. All studies coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back. In the United States, United Auto Workers Union has intensified its strike against the three major auto manufacturers in Detroit. On Wednesday, some 8,700 members walked off the job at the Ford Truck plant in Louisville, Kentucky, to join more than 25,000 union members in a strike against the big three U.S. automakers, General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis. In a statement, Ford called the extension of the strike extremely irresponsible, warning that social extension will have painful consequences. On the other hand, the president of the union, Sean Fain, declared through the Twitter platform that if Ford does not understand, adding 8,700 of its workers in Louisville to the strike will help them understand. The government of El Salvador, the Legislative Assembly, approved on Wednesday the 19th session of the accession regime. The measure was approved after an increase in the number of homicides and which claimed the life of more than 80 people in 3 days. This regime is aimed at combating criminal groups as well as suspending constitutional guarantees for them. In its context, humanitarian organizations pointed out that more than 5,000 people are victims of human rights abuses, mainly due to arbitrary detentions. The measure was extended for a term of more than 30 days and will be in effect for 20 months. Thanks to the votes of 67 deputies of the 84 members of the Congress, the majority of the party of the President Nayib Bukele. Likewise, Salvadoran government ordered sending 4,000 security military forces to the three communities located in the outskirts to eradicate gangsters. President Nayib Bukele has used the bestowed emergency powers following a significant growth of violence since March 2022. Despite the security measures have been very popular among the Salvadoran population, international organizations of human rights and foreign governments have criticized a lot of Bukele's strategies, pointed out the lack of due legal prosecution for arrests. In Peru, workers of the public sector pursued a national strike to demand Boluarte's government better labor conditions and stopping anti-union practices. Social Security Workers National Federation is made of 150 unions amounting at least 25,000 workers rejected non-compliance of the collective agreement by the government. Employees demand to pay around $2,000 promised by the states, as well as removing the labor regime. The union is sure to continue on strike until their demands be fulfilled. In Paraguay, penitentiary authorities regained control of Tacumbu prison after a group of prisoners held captive the prison guard for at least 15 hours. The General Headquarters of Intelligence informed that 20 prison guards and 30 family members of the prisoner who had been taken hostage in the largest prison in Paraguay were released. In a sense, normalcy was reestablished and the weapons of the officers were recovered. The prisoners originated the rebellion demanding a meeting with the Minister of Justice so that he could give explanations about the case a distant officer of the National Police who was a suspect in a murder and later escaped from jail. On Wednesday, the Minister of Indigenous Peoples requested a full veto by President Luis Ignacio Lula da Silva of the bill that establishes the temporary framework for the demarcation of indigenous lands. The agency's legal opinion was sent to the Presidency of the Republic, attesting to the constitutionality of the bill approved by the Congress, which, in addition to the temporary framework, imposes other provisions that affect the rights of indigenous people. The legal opinion questions the way in which the bill addresses the contact of isolated people, the possibility of economic exploration of indigenous lands by third parties, the loss of territory due to alleged acculturation, and the cultivation of genetically modified foods. According to the Ministry of Indigenous People, the bill goes against the global talks on environmental protection and controlling the climate crisis led by the President Lula. NATO defense ministers meet in Belgium to discuss Ukraine, Kosovo, and the Middle East. NATO defense ministers on Wednesday reaffirmed their support for Ukraine, amid pressure on allies to send arms to bolster Israel's war against Hamas. The U.S.-sponsored meeting of the Ukraine Defense Contact Group comes at a time when Ukraine is desperately seeking more weapons to help its troops regain ground against Russian forces before winter sets in. But political chaos in Congress has stalled approval of new funding for Ukraine, and opposition to any increase in spending has grown among some lawmakers. The new war in Israel further complicates the issue, creating competition for weapons and funding even as the United States and other allies struggle with their unwilling stockpiles of material. Finland's border guard released a video on Wednesday of the patrol vessel in the area of damaged gas pipeline in the Gulf of Finland. Defense Minister Antti Hakanen and his Estonian counterpart Hanno Pevkur jointly stated that an investigation was underway into the damage to the gas pipeline connecting the two countries. Finnish Estonian gas system operators said on Sunday that they noted an unusual drop in pressure in the Balticconnector pipelines, after which they shut down the gas flow. The Finnish government announced on Tuesday that there had been damage to both the pipelines and a telecommunications cable between the two countries. Estonia said that the damaged area of the data cable owned by Finnish cell phone operators and internet service provider Elisa is likely located in Estonia's economic zone. The incident comes just over a year after the Nord Stream gas pipelines running between Germany and Russia in the Baltic Sea were damaged by explosion believed to be sabotage. And we have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at TeleSUR English, that you'll be able to rewatch our interviews, sub-stories, special broadcastings, and more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to set up to dates on the world's more recent events. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back. On Thursday in India, local media reported that at least 4 people were killed and 100 injured after an express train derailed in the state of Bihar. The accident occurred on Wednesday night when 3 wagons of the Northeast Express bound for Kamaga from New Delhi went on the railway line near Buxar town for unknown reasons. Buxar District Magistrate Anshul Angwarwal told reporters that the rescue operation was completed on Thursday with the support of specialized teams, police, and local residents. Officials said that several seriously injured were taken to the Institute of Medical Science in Patna and other hospitals in the capital. Niger's military rulers have demanded that the head of the United Nations Diplomatic Commission in the country leave within 72 hours. In a statement dated October 10th, Niger Foreign Minister accuses the UN of using obstacles to stop the West African nation from fully participating in last month's UN General Assembly. During the 78th session of the UN General Assembly held in September, a representative of Niger who was initially set to take the floor did not. According to a diplomatic source, the organization had received two competing requests to address the assembly, one from the military rulers and one from the Tobel government. At the time, military leaders accused UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres of obstructing the participation in the organization's General Assembly. In response, Stéphane Dujarric, spokesman for the UN chief, said that the Secretary General does not decide on such a matter. It is about his credentials committee. The first convoy of French troops withdrew from Niger on Tuesday after being ordered out by the coup leaders of the United States also got off more than $500 million in assistance to the insurgency-hit Sahel nation. Niger's military regime announced on state television late Tuesday that it escorted to the first convoy of French soldiers from the base in the western town of Oualante in the direction of Chad. The withdrawal of French forces was quickly demanded by Niger's new ruling generals after they took power on July 26, with French President Emmanuel Macron confirming in September the departure, a process that Paris expects to be completed by the end of the year. Around 1,000 French troops were stationed in Niamey, with another 400 deployed at two forward bases in the northwest. In addition to the departure by land, 3 special flights have been registered at the airport in Niamey. South Korea got its first close-up view of one new pair of giant panda cubs Thursday at a ceremony to reveal the names and to celebrate 100 days since their birth. The females named Rui Bao White Treasure and Hui Bao Bright Treasure were born at an Everland theme park near the capital Seoul in July and have since received an outpouring of enthusiasm and affection. About 500,000 panda lovers helped choose their names through online voting, according to the zoo, and a handful of lucky fans were invited to the ceremony on Thursday. Al Bao and Li Bao, the twins' parents, arrived in South Korea in 2016 as a state gift from Chinese President Xi Jinping. China has long deployed panda diplomacy, gifting these animals to various countries, often to further its foreign policy goals.
We've never raised twins before, so we were very nervous, but I was happy seeing them grow up, and I think the people watching them via social media were also happy. So I think that they are already a very generous pair of twins who provide a lot of happiness.
And we have come to the end of this brief. You can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Ana Rosabal. Thank you for watching.